people have asked me to try it because so many people suffer with diabetes, and you know, I don't know if I have no bits of the sugar.
There's no baking soda in it?
There's no baking powder.
But no baking soda?
No. So you equally distribute it. How about that?
Another question.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of vinegar did you use? White vinegar, rice vinegar?
I prefer cider vinegar. And I like name-brand soup with my bacon. I usually prefer Atlanta Lake butter, but I'll use James Farm. We're going to put a pound of butter in here, so a pound of cream cheese. And we're going to make cheese icing. Okay, now we put it in the oven, 20-25 minutes. As he makes that cream cheese icing, okay, I'm going to start to put this cake together. I'm accepting all resumes and applications for assistance at 708 2914 Atlantic Avenue. All positions available. We have shifts that's from 8 a.m. to 12 midnight. And I'm going to be like Donald Trump and have the apprentice. So like more than 2 weeks. Right now the going rate is 3 weeks and they're over. But you know, if you're dealing with somebody's food, you really got to be on a hustle and a grind. So my job ain't always the easiest one. So therefore I'm not always the easiest person to deal with. No man, we'll train, you know. We will train, because by the time you ride around, we just have to learn something about some icing. So that's sometimes a good thing, sometimes a bad thing. How many of you decorate cakes? More and more? Okay, how many of you just like to bake? Okay, okay. Now we're talking. Okay. Now moving right along. Before I get in trouble. Okay, what I'm doing now is basically just icing the cake. A lot of people ask me, why do I start from the top? Why do I start from the bottom? It depends. I mean, there's no evidence stone way of doing it. But, you know, I sometimes do it both. This cake is extremely soft and spongy and nice. And it can be a problem because it'll break on you. And by you doing a shape like this, sometimes it'll break right on the edge. And then you got a problem. So that's why I'm kind of putting a heavy load of icing on the top so I can design it a little easier and faster. It's 20 after, so in about 15 minutes I should have the whole cake done. You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. That I might do in a few minutes, huh? Okay, let's make sure. You don't want to get crumbs in the icing. That's one of the tests when they come over to me and I want to decorate cakes in the shop. I said, if you can ice a 9-inch red velvet without getting crumbs in the icing, in 5 minutes we good. Because, you know, it can be real, once you get one crumb, sometimes the whole icing turns pink. So that's what I'm trying real hard not to pull up any of the cake. And one process that we used to use down south was when we took the cakes out, I see my grandmother put on a towel, and that was the cooling means. So as I went on to school, they were like, okay, you bake cakes on Thursdays and you finish them on Fridays. So I'm like, what happens? They're like, oh, it goes in the freezer. Then you got to put simple syrup on it. But my red velvets don't really go through that process because once you refrigerate any bread, it starts to do what? Harden and dry out. So if you got a reconstituted cake, that means that cake dry from the start with. And you got to really invent, you know, experiment with the recipe. you got to add some extra pudding to the mix, or if you have to take it out of the pan before it bakes all the way through to have a crust on it, and saran wrap it sort of sweat itself back to moistness, that'll work. And it's not a bad thing for a cake to sweat, unlike fried chicken. You know, once the crunch is gone off that fried chicken, you might as well just be done. You know, that's why a lot of times when I get French fries from McDonald's, they don't close the bag, just steam up and get glimpsed before I get to the car. But you know, have to polish it and roll down the bag. How we doing that? That's finished? How we doing? Take it off and then show it. Okay, look, we creamed right here. No?
Yeah.
We creamed the butter and the cream cheese together. No lumps, crust, and all that. You got to constantly scrape the butter off the bottom, because when you get ready to decorate, sometimes it causes problems with the decorating bag and the tip. Okay. Quick way to do. Yeah. Yeah.
In very big cake factories, in the very big cake factories, do they put the icing but also by hand, or is it done by machine?
You know, it's a bunch of machines that can ice cakes by layers, by sheet cake, or cupcakes, and they do like 20 to 30 at a time. And one of the machines that they have also a portion out for the pan. It goes through the baking process, it comes out, it freeze cools it, then it goes through the icing process, and the icing thing goes over it. Then it got a little way through borders, turns around and takes it right out, and then it's got a packaging system. A lot of times when they have those food shows and restaurant shows, if you go to some of those hotel shows, you will see some of the strangest equipment. You know, it's one thing to see a donut filler, but I mean, they do the whole cake from start to finish. I haven't seen one that write happy birthday on it yet, no. It sure come close. And now we have the new techniques with the edible paper. How many of you have had a cake that has the edible image on top? The photograph? Yeah. That's another way of decorating that really, if you don't have the talent for doing all the fancy stuff with a decorating tip, you photocopy it on the edible paper, put it on the cake, smooth it out, and it's done. You got a whole cake that's personalized, and that, you know, somebody's gonna ooh and ah. The whole point of doing the cake is to get somebody to be enthused about it at the party. So what I've done just now is mess the cake up with a ball. Now we're gonna fix it with a little design. This is something simple that, you know, the fastest way to give a design to the cake that's in our shop, where it'd be more, you know, standard and uniform. Can you see that through the camera?
No, it's a glare. It's not glare. It's not glare. It's not glare.